everybody stops talking as soon as I clap my hands.
Serious mode.
So yeah, but last week it's our headphones. They immediately. So we were trying to do our own podcast because our guys abandoned us. Guys,
Yeah.
how was your trip actually? Yeah, you had a good time. It's all good. Yeah. So our guys abandoned us. So we were back in our Pretoria Field studio.
Make it sound so official.
I know. And we have our producer, Nikki, here with us. And also brought to you today by Albany Area Hand Therapy, Mr. Eric Velasco. And Jamie, introduce yourself.
My name is Jamie Kiep, owner of Earth and Hemp CBD Specialties here in Albany, Georgia.
Get up here and talk on this thing. So,
how's this?
Yeah,
much better.
That is so much
Nice.
better.
Perfect.
So say that again.
My name is Jamie Kiep. I'm the owner of Earth and Hemp CBD Specialties here in Albany, Georgia.
Where's that located?
It's at the corner of North Jefferson and Philema. It's in the same building as the Villager Cleaners.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool.
I know where that is. I used to drive by there every day.
All right. So do you use your product?
Do I use my product? Absolutely.
All right.
I use my product. A couple of our children use our product.
Oh, wow.
Trying to get my wife to use our product.
Yeah.
She's still on the fence.
Well, how did you why do you use it? So what happened and how did this whole thing come about? Because we talked about it a little bit in this interesting story.
Right.
It's very common to a lot of people who have gotten involved in CBD and hemp products. So I think it's a pretty common theme.
Yeah. Originally, as I said before, I initially just had some back pain I was trying to deal with, and 6 to 8 Tylenols a day is I kept hearing, your stomach's gonna be bad or whatever, and I was like, okay, it works, but if there's a natural solution, then let's find it. So, I tried some in a local store here, and it did not work. The more research that I did, I found out that what I was taking wasn't legitimately CBD oil. So
what was it? Do you remember?
Bunch of inert substances.
I think it was mainly fillers because
So was it the tincture or was
This
it a
was
vape?
Wait, fillers? Wait.
It was a honey
Filler.
It was like a honey packet, some sort of honey packet
Did it
that I got. What?
Go
ahead.
She does facial fillers.
Yes.
That's sort of what she does.
Make
for a
everyone
living.
beautiful.
Yeah.
This is the different.
It's
Filler.
completely
Filler.
different.
Yeah.
I bet it's
Does
a lot
it-
cheaper.
This won't make your lips bigger, ladies.
Sorry.
No, I don't need that. But long story short, that didn't work. I did a lot of research on, why it works, why it doesn't work, who should you buy it from, and then I did a small demographical study of who uses it in town, and it was 2 of every 3 people use CBD oil, if not have tried it or use it on a weekly basis. So, I asked them where did you get it from, and none of the answers were in town. It was all on a website, wherein you had to wait a week or 2 to get what you wanted. If you have pain, I don't want to wait a week or 2 to get what I want to take my pain away. So, with my wife, we prayed about it, and we opened up a business to bring CBD oil to the community we live in, the community that we love. So, here we are. 4 months later, people are really loving it.
So talk about the issues of opening the business up. I mean, that's pretty interesting. So even though it's legal, it's difficult, right?
Yes, it was quite difficult, mainly in the banking aspect with, CBD oil, officially not really being new. It's new to everybody, but people have been taking CBD oil for 5 to 10 years. It's just everybody seemed to have jumped on the bandwagon now, but the banks, nobody wants to stick their head out and be the one that says, I'm supporting a CBD-based business. So I was rejected by 2 or 3 major banks, and then I settled with one, and we got the ball rolling. But yeah, it's difficult to have a business without a bank.
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden everything so centered around CBD? Like everybody wants to be on. Why is it so popular all of a sudden?
I have no idea. I couldn't answer that question. Just like anything, people will jump on one thing one day, and then 2 months from now they're gonna not just dismiss CBD oil, but any other fad.
Mm-hmm.
People just like to jump on fads for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't know. I hope it's not a fad. We're hoping.
Me either.
Aw.
I'm really hoping it's not a fad.
At least,
Thank you, Nikki.
at least
Sorry.
several years.
Yeah, at least several years, 3 to 5 actually.
That's very
So,
specific.
but you had a very specific thing happen to you, right? So you were having some back issues and
Yes, yeah, I have what they call a pars defect. It's just two small minor fractures in the lower portion of my spine. Small and minor not really being the definition of what they felt like. They felt like a very large pain. And, I had, after, experimenting with CBD oil, after I found my dosage, how much to take, when to take it, ultimately it took my pain away after about 2 to 3 weeks of trial. And I have been pain-free for almost 4 months now.
Cool. So does so talk a little bit about the product. So we talked about our certificates of authenticity and Pretoria Fields hemp, which has gotten started in the last couple of weeks. One of the reasons that I particularly was interested in this product goes both with the idea with how you have to farm it. So for it to be a good product and to come out correctly in something that you would want your wife, mother, or child to use, it needs to be farmed organically. And it's because hemp itself is like a vacuum cleaner for organic chemicals and heavy metals. And so to that effect, it's very important to understand where it came from. And in the medical industry, we understand this because a lot of the nutritional industry is buyer beware or user beware. Same thing can happen with turmeric or with vitamin D, or the bioavailability of these different products is, and actually what's in them. So there's one specific study that was done by a lab in Tennessee, and a good percentage of the products that were available had 0 in them. There actually were all fillers. And so I think that's what a lot of people are seeing when they're testing the product, and then they'll have a really good result after one time, and then the next time they're not having a good result. So how are you assuring that you're getting a good quality product?
Well, I have a good.
Or are you? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we have a great relationship with the people that we do the products that we do sell them for. It was there. Obviously, once I started my business, people were trying to knock down my door and blow up my email box saying, "Hey, sell my CBD product."
Sure.
And I would look them up and see what they have to offer. But if it took me more than a minute or two to find their lab results, to find out where their product was grown, if it's not offered to you that quickly, there's probably a good reason for that.
Right.
So I only carry 3 to 5 different brands of product. All those products you can find their lab results. The certificate of authenticity. We have it in store. Most of them have the little QR code you can scan on your phone, and you can get the lab results for that batch instantly.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Other ones you just log onto the website. We show them on the computer, in the store. But other than that, if the lab results aren't there instantly available to my customers, then I'm not carrying that product.
Cool. So is it a U.S. company that you're dealing with now, or?
It is. Yeah, we have Lazarus Naturals, we have Green Roads World products, and we have our pet-based products for Honest Paws. All of them are all U.S. based.
So how do your customers, if you could tell people listening, what's the best way to know you're getting authentic CBD oil? What's some things that they can look for?
Well, the best way to know that you're getting authentic CBD oil is, the main one being lab results. If you say, "Hey, can I see your lab results?" and if they can't say, "Yes, here they are," then, that's your first major red flag. If you can't find out what you're going to be consuming, then that's a major issue.
Right.
And usually if you can't find that, then, everything else after that is no good.
Okay. That's pretty easy.
Fair enough.
Are you interested in a locally produced product?
I love to support anything local.
There you go. Yeah.
As long as they have a certificate of authenticity.
That's awesome. So when you looked at ours, is it similar to the others you've seen, or is that about right?
It's very similar. Yeah. As long as it's a third party lab tested, so there's no, "Hey, this is my friend, he owns a lab, hey, can you test my stuff for me?" That's not going to fly. But as long as it's somebody that has no interest in what you're doing, they're just doing it from a third party standpoint, then absolutely.
Okay.
But yes, they were all very similar.
So pain, is that the majority of what you sell it for? Is it for pain control, or are there other reasons I guess maybe talk about your clientele and what, and some of the, some of the good stories that you've had, or good results, or bad results? I mean, bad results are okay too. So
I'm happy to say that I haven't had a single bad result.
Okay.
It's amazing the testimonies that have come back through that door and have made that business so worth it already. Pain, headaches. 2 women from the cleaners come over, whenever they have hot flashes, and they've come over 20 minutes later and they say, it's gone. And I can't relate to hot flashes, but apparently it works for those.
It's pretty hot in a dry,
A lot of
dry
customers
cleaner.
lined up for you.
It's pretty hot in a dry cleaner
And
shop
suddenly-
anyway. So
and suddenly Nicole becomes very interested.
But the best testimony that I just love to share to inspire people and just show that CBD oil in its purest form, not the stuff that people say is CBD oil, but the stuff that you really want to be buying, it really works. And this woman was brought in a wheelchair by her caretaker, and 50% of our clientele is over 50, 60 years old.
Mm.
She brought her in, and her hands were all in balls because her arthritis was so bad that she couldn't open or close her hands. So she brought our highest milligram of pain cream, which is a topical, and her caretaker applied that to her hands twice a day for a week. And then she brought her back, and she said, I don't need to buy anything else right now. I still have my pain cream, but I just wanted to show you that I can open and close my hands. She said, I've done nothing different except for, my caretaker has given me this pain cream twice a day. And I have stories like that, multiple, that just blow my mind.
So different dosage forms, or different dosage forms, in the right, different dosage forms. So how are they? So people are taking it in tinctures. They have creams. What are the different things that you sell? And is there one thing that works better than another, or how do people find out what's best for them? Because you talked about dose response, and you had to sort of get your dose right.
Yeah, it all depends on what you're trying to treat. Obviously, if it's something topical, and you don't want to buy a full tincture bottle, and you just want to buy something small that you can put a little bit of cream on, a topical is going to be your best bet. If you have multiple things you're trying to treat, then a tincture might be your best bet, because you're going to I'm blacking out here.
It's going to be systemic. So is that what you're talking about? So if you're trying
No,
to
that's
treat
a fancier word than I was thinking about.
Well, if you're going to treat arthritis plus,
you're going to ingest it.
Yeah, you're
That's
ingest
what
it.
I
Yeah,
was
that's right.
thinking about. Because you're going to ingest it, and your body will push it through your endocannabinoid system. So, whereas a topical is just going to hit, spot on where you put it.
Endocannabinoid system.
I like
Did I
that.
say
Can
that
you
word?
say that
Did
again?
You say that word, yeah.
I said it different. Endocannabinoid.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That's fancy.
Endocannabinoid.
So can you talk about that a little bit? What is the endocannabinoid system?
The endocannabinoid system.
Yeah,
The
what is
you probably know it more accurate than me, so who am I to say? Dogs have the same system we do. Some certain pets have the same system we
Mhm.
do. The endocannabinoid system is just a system that processes, it processes CBD. It has a home in our bodies. It's not like we're
Mhm.
putting something that we made to deal with something that we have. It's all natural, and that system is made to accept that and disperse it throughout. We have different CB1, CB2 receptors,
Mhm.
all of which use CBD in their own certain way.
Well,
I thought it was really nice you let him go ahead and answer that question, because
He could have gone for hours.
he loves to talk about it.
So why would you add THC to that? Like were they having the low dose THC oil, or the 0.3% or less? Like how do you know which one is best for you?
In terms of which dose of
Like-
THC is best for you?
Well,
That's the
Depends
higher-
on your
like
stress
it's actually
levels.
the
It's higher than
dose.
3%.
The higher dose.
Well, when it comes to, the full spectrum and broad spectrum, full spectrum, you have the THC in there, but you have up to that legal amount. Anything over that, which I've had people bring stuff in from other states, and, I'm just like, hey, you got that. I don't have that. That's not mine. That's yours. And, they'll show me the ratio, and I'll just be like, you may be able to get that where you're at, but we can't have that right here.
Yeah.
But in terms of full spectrum, it's saying what he could probably hit on this more than I can, but what they take out of the plant. Whereas an isolate, they're going to isolate very small amount. There's going to be 0% THC in isolate, whereas a broad spectrum, you're going to have a little bit more. And then a full spectrum, you're going to have up to probably about the max amount of 0.3% THC.
Mhm.
Still not enough to give you any form of
You're still not gonna get high.
psychological effect. You
Okay.
could consume every product in my store at once,
Darn.
and you'd be very disappointed at how high you got.
And not only that, but just so people understand, CBD, cannabidiol, actually suppresses the effects of THC in the body when they're consumed together. So you would actually have to have a higher dose of THC per effect, so per dose response, if you're also consuming it with CBD oil. And there's a combined effect between the two. They actually because one hits the CBD1 receptor and the other one hits the CBD2 receptor. And this is interesting, and I will elaborate a little bit. So you could talk for hours about what we don't know about this. So there's hundreds of CBD chemicals within the actual plant itself. And so you can look at, say, CBD 1 through 13 or CBD 13 through 54 or CBD 54 through 126. And one of the things we don't know is if the plant spikes in a certain area, is that particular plant better for, say, hyperemesis gravidarum, which would be nausea in pregnancy? Or is that particular plant better for arthritis? Or is that going to be better for muscle cramps? And we will find all this stuff out. But it's been a class 1 narcotic since the 1960s, 50s, 60s, whenever it was made illegal. And so we haven't, so it hasn't been studied in the United States. There's the best lab on this in the world is in Sweden. And I'm pretty sure the researcher's name is Sven. And his
That's a safe bet.
the very first that's pretty good. Sven in Sweden. And so the first thing he said in his talk was we could fill 100 textbooks about the questions that we don't know about what's going on. And no, actually, please put it actually right here. Yep.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Much
We don't,
better. Yeah.
we don't,
This is
Sound
actually is a
effects.
beer podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we like the sound.
Nice.
I don't know how to fingernails
So
on
I mean,
something.
and that's super interesting. I mean, the couple of things that we don't know, there's almost zero toxicity. So it doesn't. You look at it, you can't. There's the LD50 doesn't exist. So lethal dose 50% of animals die after X number X milligrams, and so it's a pretty interesting thing. You talked about how we actually have a receptor system within it. Well, to me, and we just talked about this last week, to me the most interesting part of this is we share this with plants. Like this thing is so common to biology that it either co-evolved with the plant itself, or we either share it with the evolution of the plant, or it co-evolved right next to the plant, and which means we've been using it for a long time, and so that's pretty neat. Cheers.
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 Drop the mic. Drop the mic. Yeah.
Jamie's like, what did I walk into?
I couldn't follow that.
He's been talking about that
we've
for a
been
while now.
It's actually a canned speech. So,
So what's the point of even having the THC in it at all? I mean, what would be the point of that?
He could probably go into better depth. I mean, THC
go ahead, yeah.
THC in itself, has benefits.
Mm-hmm.
From the research that I've seen on THC, again, he could probably go into much greater detail. THC has been shown to, I think it was knock down 50% of the growth rate of cancer cells. And that's not going to get rid of it, but from the research that I read, it gave people more time. So
That's
that was
great.
just the THC itself.
well,
Oh,
and the
wow.
nausea associated with chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge thing. So one of our, the consultant that we have out of Tennessee, one of his partner's children actually passed away from a childhood cancer, and that's how they got into this. That's one of the ways they got into this business. Exactly what you talked about. They, when she was at end of life, they were using different products, and some would work and some wouldn't, and that's how they found out about it. So it became their mission.
Sure.
to provide a quality product to other people to be able to use who are in the similar situation. And then, they've done a good job of it. So, costs, is it expensive? It is expensive.
Yes.
So
very
like
expensive.
tinctures,
Yeah.
how many ounces do you sell in a bottle per se?
They go by milliliters, so
Okay,
it's.
milliliters.
I think our biggest one is 30 milliliters. It's not terribly big, but again, your dosage is going to be a small amount. Sometimes it's merely drops. Not a full dropper full, but two or tee drops.
And what would be the cost of 30 milliliters?
$159. That should
fine.
last several weeks, unless someone's treating something very severe, in which case they're going to take more frequently.
Did your wife like this new job you have?
What new job?
Yeah, the CBD job. So
I don't see it as we started the business, and now it kind of just runs itself.
Yeah?
During the day in the heat, I'm out sweating my butt off mowing grass for my other business. So I've got a handy person that runs the store, takes care of everything in there day to day. But other than that, we started the business, and it's helping a lot of people out. So
Wonderful.
Very cool. Does what do you see the future? I mean, where are you going from here? Are you gonna expansion, stay where you are?
I don't. Like I told you, we've got 4 kids, so I can't make myself much busier. I wouldn't like to do that. I like to give my family a lot of my time when I can. As big as I'd like to get, I'd like to have 2-3 stores in our community. If there's anybody I want to serve, I want it to be our community. I'm not going to be money hungry, and go branch farther out. There's no purpose in that other than just make more money. There's other CBD companies that can service those people, but I'm more excited about serving our community.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't. Do you have any competition here in town? I haven't heard anybody.
Not in terms of selling strictly CBD.
Yeah.
Ever since I opened, I don't worry about competition and none of that stuff. I've even been blamed. I've been called and cussed out because somebody told somebody that I called the police narcotics unit on the Wanna-Vape company when they got raided or whatever. I don't even know the guy that owns it. I've never even met the guy, but for some reason, somebody said that I was the one that called him.
He wasn't using the right oils if he was cussing you out, obviously.
Yeah, he had too much stress.
He wasn't
obviously.
calm enough.
Obviously.
Wasn't
But
good
yeah,
stuff.
no competition. And, as far as I know, I'm the biggest storefront in the state of Georgia in terms of variety of CBD sold. I have over 80 different varieties of CBD products to sell. In terms of space, probably not, but
Yeah. Is vape legal here? CBD vape stuff?
CBD vape stuff, yeah, absolutely.
That's the
As
thing.
long as it's below the 0.3%.
Yeah.
I
And
don't sell vape stuff because I don't personally support that, but
Right. No, I was just asking. And then CBD, or I guess, here's a good question. What's the difference between something that says hemp oil and something that says CBD oil? Is there a difference? Is that a...
one of them they get the oil from like the stalk and the other part, and then all the way up to the flower. And I think one they get specifically from the stalk and the leaves.
So
and
does
one from the
hemp oil
flower.
have the same content of CBD that CBD oil does?
No, that's what I think. Everybody else has the distinction of they buy a bottle and it just says 100% hemp oil,
Yeah.
and it'll be $19, and
Right.
then you see 100% CBD oil and it'll be $90.
Right. And so, but the component that actually is active is what?
That's active in
The part that people are looking for, or the part that it causes the arthritis and the pain to be better, is what?
they want the cannabidiol.
Right.
Yeah,
And so there's not as much of that in the hemp oil. Is that correct?
that's correct.
And so and that's the reason it's cheaper, I guess.
Well, yeah, the more CBD you're paying for, the more the company's got to take out of the plant and then pay the lab to test. Whereas if they do less, they have to pay less. They can sell it for less, so you're getting less product.
Talk about how people. So there's one point is tinctures, in which you just put it under your tongue, right?
Right.
Is that the most common, or?
Yes, tinctures is our most common category that's bought. Second is the topicals.
Topicals. And
Just-
what are the different types of topicals?
That we sell in general.
Mhm.
We have just a muscle and joint pain cream. We've got a cedar, a mint, and a lavender balm.
That's just how
Do you
it
have a bath
smells,
bomb?
It smells like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are really
It smells
popular.
CBD
good.
bath bomb.
We have bath bombs
That's
also.
awesome.
We got 4 different types of bath bombs.
So if you
I thought that
bathe
would be
in-
more of
that's
her
a lot
interest
of
than
30
yours.
milliliter bottles.
I thought that would be more of her interest than your interest, but hey, that's cool.
2-2. So
I've been wondering where my lip gloss has been going. That makes sense.
But yeah,
now.
we got those bombs. We got the muscle and joint creams. You know, we've got face creams. We have face masks, all kinds of topicals. But again, there's so many people out there that offer all that stuff that don't offer the certificate of authenticity with those lab results. So we have a couple that we stick to.
So the face mask, what is the point of that?
suddenly she
The face
cheers.
mask.
Yes.
That's sold by Joy Organics, and they're
Mhm.
actually that's a 0% THC that they pride themselves in. But that's our beauty care line. So
Is
that's
it the anti-redness or anti-inflammatory? What does it do for you as far as skincare?
I'm a CBD person, not
It
a
exfoliates.
not a skincare person.
Exfoliates.
Does it
off.
rejuvenate?
And it gives
or-
you CBD.
It gives you whatever
Okay.
whatever a face mask gives you. It gives you that plus some CBD.
So some
Yeah.
CBD.
Plus some
Yeah.
CBD.
Yes.
It's
In
like a
terms
bonus.
of cosmetic beauty care, I can't tell you exactly what it will
if
do
it's
for you.
anti-inflammatory, that's actually very, very beneficial cosmetically. So that's why I was
There you
curious. Yeah.
Any
We just had someone buy all 5. Sorry.
any side effects or possibility of dependency?
No, I mean it's all natural. This isn't something that's made. You know, it's an all natural organic thing. So there are no side effects.
Well, heroin
on-
is actually all natural.
The
Yeah.
only thing.
And I guarantee you
Well,
that
then
I
there's
guarantee
that.
you that arthritically
Yeah,
is
so
now
it-
dependent upon.
It doesn't. It doesn't
Upon
go
coming
all
into
the
your
way
store.
there. So, but the point was, there's not a risk of dependency, right?
No, there's no risk of dependency. The only drawback that I've seen people have with mainly it would be improper dosaging. You know, I would tell them the proper dosage amount based on what they told me they were trying to treat, and they wanted to do it quicker, a lot more to get it to be gone.
More's better.
And they said that pretty much.
American way.
And they said, you know, I just got kind of really tired. And I said, well, your endocannabinoid system has probably never had CBD before as much as you're trying to give it. And it probably just said, whoa, you gave me way too much CBD.
Yeah.
So that's why you got tired.
It's nap time.
It's
Mhm.
nap time.
Mhm.
naps, hugs, and a little extra food in the freezer.
Netflix and chill. Yes.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast tonight.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
Anything else you want to say before we sign off here?
I'm just excited to be here. This is pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, we appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you.
It's cool to learn about how we hopefully we can support you in any way we can, and cool. Cheers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have a good relationship moving forward.
Yeah.